Okay, round three. They said third time is a charm. So let's see. Tap share for the broadcast link. Okay. So let's try this again. Third time. I just manually put on my Instagram like the link, but who knows if that's actually going to work. So I've known you for a while, and I if it's okay, can I say just a tiny bit of your story, or so you,
Yeah,
or
of
actually
course.
I would love to. Why don't you share your
Go
story? So
ahead. No,
for
go
anyone
ahead.
that, okay, I'll share it from my version, and I probably have aspects of it wrong, so you can share it from yours. But I've always loved Kendrina. So I met her. We were both living in New York. I was modeling at the time. I was working full time, but I had set up a schedule so that I would work like 3 or 4 days a week and then fly out on the weekend. So even though I was like working all the time and I was kind of tired from working, I also felt like a sense of balance, and I felt like for the most part, I was in my feminine energy. Now I realize there are a lot of aspects or ways in which I wasn't fully, but you don't totally see until afterwards. But I met Kendrina and I like totally loved her and we connected right away. But I always felt like there was a little bit, and I say this with love, but a little bit of like a harshness, or like that shell, like that outer shell that we get sometimes from working in like the corporate environment and being in this go 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 like masculine world. And I talk about this all the time, that the majority of right now our educational system, the corporate world, is primarily masculine. And just for anyone watching, the masculine is aligned with the sun. So basically the sun rises and sets more consistently at the same time, where the feminine is aligned with the moon. The moon has a lot more dark phases and then it shines really bright, like right now the full moon. But the feminine needs rest, and it needs also, the feminine is more internal, like your intuition, your wisdom within, and the masculine is more cognitive and external, and the woman is more like in her body and her emotions. And when I say her, it's just that everyone has masculine and feminine essence, but if you're in a female body or a woman, you're more likely to have the feminine be your core essence. So that's the basic rundown. And I would love to hear a little bit just about your journey with this, because you totally shifted it. And then I want to go into the ability to like manifest and create from this, aligned with this space, which is very different than how we've been taught. So
Mm. Yeah, so you want to hear about like what I feel led to that shift that you've noticed in me?
yeah, just a little bit of your
Yeah,
journey, and you can talk about
yeah,
like
my
the
journey.
UN and your background, your education, and kind of what.
Yeah, so and yeah, when you what you shared about, that sort of very harsh sort of outer shell, so to speak, um, that definitely is something that characterized me in the past, which is, yeah, which is exactly what you felt when you first met me, and it's something that I've been consciously cultivating a practice to soften more, to go into my more into my feminine, and that came from really from having been, raised without a mother, from losing my mother. My mother passed when I was really young, and so, and my father was very alpha, very very harsh, very, you know just very intense, and that masculine, like, so that's what I was raised with. And I wasn't raised with any of the feminine energy, that softness, and, the attributes of the feminine, the receptivity, the more yin qualities. And then, of course, that led me to the path of when, my prior career, which was, had so much of that yang, the masculine, which is wonderful because those masculine attributes, they lead to drive. It's like drive and, success and assertiveness and, reaching goals. And so, yeah, that led me to Stanford, where I studied economics. And then I did my master's at Harvard, and, very driven, very successful, then went to Washington, D.C. and worked in the world. I worked for a little bit at the World Bank, and then worked in government, and very much in a masculine world, in the sense, and again, when I say masculine, I don't mean men, but yes, in the sense of the masculine energy of, do, and, going forward, and not connecting with, the feminine essence of, yeah, just of softness and of intuition. And it really, I burned out. I mean, it got to a place to where I was so out of balance because my feminine, I didn't have that from not being raised with it. I was so little when my mother died, and I didn't have feminine influence. All my family was in Mexico, so I didn't have aunts, cousins, grandmothers. Um, and so I already was imbalanced in my upbringing, not having that balance of the masculine, feminine, and then my entire education and career path was so masculine driven. So yeah, I reached a point where I really started to get like even more out of balance. My health took a toll, and I realized like I gotta do something, because this is not aligned, first of all, with my higher calling. I went through my spiritual awakening and realized that what I wanted to do was help humanity. And that's why I initially got into the world of policy and government. But I realized once I got into like the belly of the beast that wasn't the route for me to do it, and that I felt my own light and my own essence being like diminished. So it's like I couldn't shine the way that I felt that I was born to, and help humanity in the way that I felt that I was born in this lifetime to do. So I left it all and I started my spiritual path and my path of healing that, and of coming more into the feminine, into my intuition, my softness, my receptivity. And it was a process. It was a path of self-love as well, a lot of healing of my heart and opening up and not having the that hard outer shell that you speak of, to where now what I'm so blessed to be able to do is, I'm now I awakened my inner healer. I practice many different modalities of healing, everything from Reiki. I'm a Reiki master. I practice many different types of energy healing, sound healing. I help in the realm of sacred sexuality. I'm a sacred sexuality guide and teacher, and also an integrative nutritionist. And so and a medicine woman. I serve different medicines, and so it's interesting how yeah, my life has made a complete 180 to now be so guided by my intuition, by my softness, by more of that yin. But it's beautiful because I'm also, I mean, that masculine, that yang, it's still in me. So now I'm able to bring it out when I need to be, achieve what I need to do, but balanced with um yeah, with the feminine. So
Thank you so much for that. I love that. And it's so funny. I always forget that there's so many similarities. So for anyone watching, Kendrina and I were both from Mexico. We were both on this like medicine woman path. My great grandmother was a medicine woman. We went to very similar schools. She went to Harvard and Stanford. I went to Columbia and Oxford. So we had achieved a lot of success, and we will always have that drive and that internal ambition. But for a long time it's integrated more in the like more traditional world, or more like masculine aligned, or more corporate. Well, mine was less corporate, but my education was more traditional. And now we were really leaning into the feminine, leaning into our gifts, back into nature, aspects of self. We both work with children. We both have background in early childhood education, and reclaiming aspects of self that we've been cut off from. But I would love, because I know that a lot of my clients, actually pretty much all of my clients, are still people that are still aligned with corporate. So they might be entrepreneurs or work. I have a lot of clients that work in tech. And my clients are pretty much split between men and women. And what I do is I help people reconnect. And hello, Jewel Sand, by the way. I help people reconnect to the feminine aspect and reconnect to nature, their body, their emotions, some of the things that I encourage people to do, and I'll share that. And I would love to hear your insights, because I know you have your background is in nutrition and health and sacred sexuality. So I would love to hear from your perspective. Some of the things that you would encourage, like your clients or viewers, and I'll just share from my perspective. So for me, I know meditation is a big one. For me, meditation allows you, again, the feminine is your intuition, your wisdom within, and just allowing yourself to get still and silence. Especially right now, we're so inundated by. I don't own a television. Someone the other day said there's a reason it's called TV programming. But when you allow yourself to get inundated by all the noise, you can get pulled in a lot of directions, and especially right now. And there's a lot of great causes. There's activism, there's all these things, but there's still a lot of external push to either push you in a certain direction or to pull you, or to have other people's opinions of what is right and what is wrong, where we are expected to consume that. And I'm a big believer that we all have our individual path and purpose. And when you get so filled up with the external noise and other people's opinions, societies, your parents, the news, all of that, it can really lead us astray, where we start to follow the external and we start to follow what we think, where we're pulled, but it's not necessarily in alignment with our truth, and it's not necessarily in alignment with where we are supposed to go and what we are supposed to do. So for me, meditation is a big one, just to get quiet. I'm a big believer in practices. How you start your day is indicative often of how your day will go. So before you go straight to text, before you go straight to devices, just really take a little bit of time to get back to you, to get back to your body, your emotions. I do a whole program, Clear, Connect, Consciously Create, but clearing out, really changing your neural pathways, your ways of thinking. Your words create your world. So when the thoughts that you have, we have these scripts that we're running off of that we don't even realize. And I talk about a lot of them all the time, but one of them is like, get a real job. Like the idea that like a real job is like 9 to 5 or working for someone else or like showing up, like clocking in. And for me, like a real job is one that is aligned with your soul and aligned with your path and your purpose. Another one for me is nature, just getting outside. We're not only cut off from nature externally, we're cut off from our own natural rhythms. So, we're tired, we drink coffee. We're like we just don't listen to our body and what our body really wants and needs. So those are some of the things that I really encourage my clients to connect to. And also just the energy, the unseen. We both come from that medicine world, from energy medicine, and we realize and we know that there's a whole world that exists beyond just what you can physically see. And before you create anything, it always comes from the unseen, right? It always comes, you have an idea, this inspiration, this intuitive hit, and then you bring it into the world. So if you're only living and responding to what it already exists, you're already behind. So those are some of the things that I teach. And so anytime before I do an Instagram post, before I work with a client, I always set an intention and just connect to them energetically. And really try to be in that vibration, knowing that you're going to attract people from that space. And most people don't realize that a lot of times your thoughts have a vibration. So even though you're saying like, oh, I really want to work with this client, or I want them to like me, your thoughts are saying like, oh, I don't think I'm good enough, or I'm fat, or I'm ugly, or I'm short, or they're stupid, or whatever it is, not realizing that those thoughts have a frequency and people are unknowingly themselves, but responding to that frequency. So the more that you can clear those unconscious thoughts, the more you can be in alignment and clear out the noise. But so those are things that I work with and that I encourage my clients to lean into. But again, because your world is like nutrition, sacred sexuality, I would love to hear some practices that you do either for yourself or for clients that really help them reconnect.
Well, meditation also is massive. I mean, yeah, meditation is fundamental. And I agree with what you said about starting the day. I start every day that way, centering, meditating, connecting. Absolutely. And as far as and then of course for me, I'm also, because nutrition is, for me it's the cornerstone of our well-being. I mean, obviously it's the body mind soul connection, but if you don't have the proper you know um, nutrients in your body, and if you don't have the proper minerals, and and then we're all energy, and everything's biochemical. And so it's, if we don't have the proper nutrients, then it's going to affect everything. So I'm really mindful, and I encourage everybody that I work with and I share with to have very specific, you know, everyone can do, it doesn't have to be exactly what I do, but, definitely doing alkalizing things in the morning, obviously water with lemon. Everyone knows now that that's like one of the best ways to start your morning. Green, like super greens, and really being mindful of where they come from and like what kind of soil they're grown on, because that the information that our cells needs from the earth, and unfortunately
Hmm.
nowadays there's most of the earth is dead. It doesn't have the nutrients, it doesn't have the information that our cells need. So paying attention to where the things that you take comes from and how they're grown. And so yeah, breath work is another big practice of mine that I encourage many people to do. Breath work for trauma release, breath work for energizing, breath work for calming. There's a lot of different tantric breathwork practices for expanding, for circulating your own divine life force sexual energy in order to direct that energy towards whatever it is you want to create in your life. Were you gonna say something, Marilyn?
Yeah, I would actually love. It's so funny that you say breath work because I feel like a lot of the pieces, it's so beautiful. We've talked about this before that we need to collaborate more because I feel like we have different pieces, and I do believe actually part of being in that feminine energy is collaboration and community and just coming into a different way of creating. And we're all pieces of the puzzle. And I love that I know so many people, and I'm also a believer when you hear things over and over, it's like the universe's way of like these synchronicities of reminding you. And I just know so many people that I really admire are really into breath work. Hi Renee, how are you doing? A lot of people I really admire are really into breath work. By the way, so anyone who's just coming in, we were talking about the feminine and the masculine, but we're primarily cut off from the feminine and nature and your own natural rhythms. And this is Kendrina, and we are just talking about ways when you should get back to your body, get back to your heart space, get back to embodiment, your emotions, the flow, your energetic, like really reclaiming your own energy, because so many of us, we don't even realize what our energy like feels like or what we are putting out there. So Kendrina is just talking about breath work, and I would love you to go into that anymore. If there's actual like specific practices, do you do it daily? Um, yeah, I would love to just go into a little bit more because, like I said, I've heard it. I've done a few, and I've one or two really resonated. A lot didn't fully, but I know people swear by it. So I would love, if that's okay, for you to go into it even a little bit more.
Sure. And yeah, and I just want to say about what you talked about, getting into the body. I mean, that's so important right now. It's, and like you said, that is part of the feminine. It's like the earth, like mama earth, like our body is our earth. And we are so detached from our body because of the world that we live in, and everyone's like living up here. And it's, so yeah, these practices of embodiment, and it can be dance, it can be movement, it can be yoga, it can be really just walking, taking a walk in nature. Ideally have nature near you. um Yes, feeling the debate. Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
good, you can read it. I was wondering.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah. And it's the competition. I wanted, like what you mentioned about how
Yes,
collaboration
competition
is
versus
feminine.
collaboration.
Well, yeah, and because that's the masculine. But the thing, what we saw yesterday
It's I
was,
compete
was
versus it.
the unhealthy masculine, because there's masculine and feminine attributes. And again, like you said earlier, we all have masculine and feminine within us, and there's divine masculine that is within everyone, and divine feminine, and then there's the wounded masculine and the wounded feminine. What we saw yesterday was the complete perfect example of the wounded masculine, of the masculine attributes of force and of drive, but being so in the realm of like competition and disrespect and yeah, and not honoring one another. And so yeah, like the feminine attribute of collaboration. And it's not to say that these attributes of the feminine, it's amazing to me, for men also to have those attributes. It's not just a thing for women. It's how men also can embody the feminine qualities of respect, of collaboration, of union, of care, of nurturing, while still being, focused and driven and on point, and like having that drive of the masculine. And that's where the beautiful masculine feminine dance comes within each of us.
Yeah,
And
so
so
sorry to interrupt you. I would just
yeah,
like to, because there's a number of people that come in. So one, I just want to clarify for anyone coming in. Kendrina and I love the masculine. Okay, so this
yeah,
is very. I just want to make it very, very clear. And within us,
absolutely.
and again, for anyone who missed the beginning of our introduction, we were both very aligned with systems that are much more traditional, much more masculine. Again, I went to Columbia and Oxford. She went to Stanford and Harvard. She worked in government, politics, finance. Half my clients work in that world. I very much honor the masculine. I actually have so much empathy for the masculine. And the feminine. And the thing is, again, we are both. We both have aspects of the masculine and the feminine. One, two, our system has primarily been more aligned with the masculine, but the masculine that is not necessarily doesn't embrace or support the feminine. So what we both believe in is getting back into alignment first internally within yourself and allowing your own masculine, which is taking action, showing up, systems and structures, support your feminine, which your feminine is embodiment, your emotions, flow, being allowing for process and your intuition. If you are just in the feminine and you're just meditating all day or dancing or whatever, you probably have trouble paying your bills, or you're probably going to be dependent on the masculine, and that's the old system that doesn't allow you to be in your own sovereignty. And then vice versa, if you have achieved success or done this way, this masculine way, so many of my clients are exhausted, they're burnt out, they have creative stagnation, or they have difficulty really corresponding with the feminine, both their own feminine and their emotions and externally. So I'm a big believer, and Kendra, we both believe the same, that your external world is indicative of your internal world. So when you come back into alignment internally, when you honor all aspects of yourself, and you listen to your own truth and your own needs, and you support your masculine supports your feminine, then that is what gets reflected back. So I just want to make it very clear. We both very much I'm very much I'm such a girl. I shouldn't say girl, I'm a woman, but I'm like very girly, feminine. So I love like the masculine. I love the strength. I love the power. I'm like, pick me up. Like I love that. But it's also the same with me, that part of me that has that drive, that shows up for myself, that takes actions, that follows through. I freaking love that. And I need that. And when I'm not integrating the two, when I'm just go, 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 and I'm exhausted and my own beauty and my own shine and my own vibrancy suffers because of that, that's not in alignment. Or if I'm just over here dancing all day, and there's nothing wrong with dancing all day, but if I can't take care of my bills and I can't take care of myself and I'm suffering in that way, that's not in alignment. So the goal is about integration and getting in alignment and honoring both aspects. It's not like one is better than the other. I actually believe so many of our issues come from this idea of competition, or come from this idea of they're wrong and they're bad. And neither of us believe this way. So I just want to okay.
Yeah,
Continue.
absolutely. Absolutely. I absolutely am so grateful for the masculine in me that is so, that is so developed and that has allowed me to get to where I am in my life. And I just wanted to say with how you said, it's not that one is better. Absolutely not, because actually they're not separate. And that's the whole thing. Like the illusion is that masculine and feminine are separate, but actually if you look at like the yin and yang, it's both part of the whole. And that's actually the truth, is that it's like the two make one. And that's, you know it's like, yeah, the so yeah, it's definitely not to say one is better than the other. It's seeing the point that actually they're both one. Correct. There is not one without the other. um and
Think.
so
Oh, sorry. Continue, and then I have a
yeah,
question for you.
yeah, no, yeah. And so oh, I was gonna say something
Get water
else.
going.
Yeah, but go ahead. Ask me what you were going to say,
Okay.
because
Oh, by the way, I have to say I love this app. So if anyone doesn't know, we are testing out this new app, Rodeo, which is an app that allows you to live stream, and then it goes directly to your YouTube channel, but then it also allows you to invite anybody and just follow the link. So literally, I got onto the app, and then Kendrina, who is not on her YouTube, who is just on her phone, we're able to have this amazing conversation. And then people like Real Country Vibes, I want to shout out Haley Rose, Jules San, Marco Venegas, they have come in from my YouTube. So I just love the accessibility, and I've done so many different live streams, and I love that it's so easy to use. And you found it super easy, right? You just logged in and we're here. So so I just want to say, and you can also customize the background and stuff. I didn't quite get there, but so I would love to, because you were talking about relationships, and I love, thank you for that reminder that we are all one. I would love, and I want to be mindful of your time. I know we have to head out in a few minutes, but I would love for you to go into a little bit more about sacred sexuality, and just what you do, or your philosophies, or your any wisdom you would like to impart on anyone that is watching. If that's okay, if that feels in alignment, if it's not too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm
Okay.
just like, okay, well, where do I get started?
Sorry,
And
I went there.
no, it's perfect. I'm just wanting to think, what can I share in a concise amount of time? Um, well, I mean, I could go somewhere that's kind of going back, time back to, you had asked me about
Yeah.
breathwork practices, and so I could kind of bring back that with, the sacred sexuality practices. And so when you asked me initially a few minutes back about what breathwork practices I myself do, so I mean there's several, but one of the things that I practice and that I encourage, everybody that I share with and work with, to, I don't really like to use the word work. Like, I mean, I guess it is their clients, but
Yeah, I know. I
it's
say
such
the
a
same thing.
joy.
I don't
It's such
even
a
like
gift,
calling
just
them
like my
clients
dharma.
because it's beyond that.
Yeah,
But it's all good. We understand.
yeah. Is to actually do a breath work practice where you are, first of all, just getting into that really deep abdominal breath. A lot of people who do yoga, when you're, familiar with this, but where you're really slowing down your breath, inhaling as slowly as you can, as deeply as you can, ideally trying to have your inhalation last 10 seconds, and then pausing for a second, and then exhaling for 10 seconds as well. Ideally
That's hard.
inhaling for
I'm
4.
trying it right now. That's not the easiest thing to do. I'm like,
Yeah.
I think my best hurt.
Yeah, I mean, at first do 5 seconds, and then you build yourself up to 10 seconds,
As I
but
pass
then
out on the.
yeah, and then where the sacred sexuality piece comes in is actually incorporating your own sectus, where you are connecting to your own, and this is something you do, by yourself. I mean, yeah, you can do it together with somebody as well if you'd like to, like, doing this breathwork practice together. But you're connecting with your sexual energy, which is actually life force, creative energy. It's what creates life. It is the most sacred energy that exists. And so the practice is that you actually connect with your sexual energy in your first and second chakras, and you breathe, you do the deep breathing, and as you're breathing, you're actually moving your sexual energy, and you visualizing it and sensing your energy moving up through your chakras and taking it up all the way to the top of your crown, and then like letting it out with an exhale, opening the mouth. And so you're creating a circuit, and that life force energy, your sexual energy, life force energy, it awakens all of your other energy centers. You're bringing life to your chakra. So it's really powerful. And then of course, your chakra system is superimposed with your endocrine system. So it's balancing, it's helping balancing your hormones, helping, activate your nervous system in such a positive way, and just overall bringing more life force and vitality to your being. So it's a really beautiful way to energize, and you can heal with that too. You can take your energy towards wherever it is in your, maybe it's an emotional wound, you can bring it to your heart center, or maybe it's an actual physical wound, you can direct it somewhere where there's a pain in your body. So that's a really powerful breath practice that I encourage everybody to
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. And I would just like to point out that it's 444 right now, 444.
Mm,
And 444 is a number of aligned abundance. So opportunities and abundance are coming your way right now from the entire
yes.
universe. And
Uh-huh.
I would like to say, because you're talking about like bringing life, like you have brought life to me. And that is the thing
Hmm.
that when you are like, because I came on and I was tired and I was exhausted. And what people don't realize, and I'm sure we've all had this experience, where you're in someone's energetic field and you might be a little bit down, and then you just get in their field and all of a sudden instantly you like rise up and you have this energy, and that is the kundalini rising. That is that energy that goes from the base of your spine and all the way up out your crown chakra and can reconnect you and reinvigorate you. And again, at the end of the day, everything's energy, and that's how I work with clients. I can literally tap into their energetic field and they'll have a little shift, and I'll say something and I'll know. I'll be like, what were you just thinking of? Where did your mind go? What? And they're like, how did you know that? And I'm like, because when you were tuned in and tapped in, you can feel the difference. And the thing is, we can all feel the difference, just most people are not cognitively aware.
Mm,
So they're responding to those shifts, they're responding to those differences. And what happens a lot of times, and especially in relationships, a lot of times people personalize. So let's say if someone is here in their shift, and let's say I'm an example, the masculine, the man, and he's thinking about work or something, and then the feminine, she internalizes that, right? She's like, oh, he like doesn't like me, or he's not interested, or he's, because she can feel that shift but not aware of it. So one of the things you can do with breath work, if you find yourself in that place or vacillating, a tip that I recommend for everyone, this for men and women, but just breathing into your heart space and literally just coming back to your own source of power, to your own energy, to that place where you already are full and you don't need to seek externally. So if you're on a day or if you find yourself getting triggered, because this happens all the time, we often are attracted to people that like trigger our wounds because ultimately they can help heal them. But unfortunately, we end up re-triggering one another a lot. And that's a whole nother topic on another
oh
day.
yeah, we could talk for hours on that one. We should talk about that one and
Yeah,
then
next time. But one of the things you can do, and I just actually want to, because I do need to close out soon, we both have to go, but I just am going to invite anyone and everyone who's watching, whether now or later, there's a place where there is no time and space, so it doesn't matter, we're all connected. And just breathing into your heart space, because so often part of being in this like productivity based, external, masculine, like go, 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 that we forget to just take a breath, to just be in our body. So I'm going to close out with a meditation, and then I'll let you close out with anything you would like to, Kendrina, or add to that. And thank you for your time. I love you. And don't let me forget at the end, I'm going to say where people can find more of me, and I'd love you where people can find more about you. Kendrina is also an amazing nutritionist. She's gotten me and my family on this program that has like changed. My sister and my mom have each lost over 10 pounds. Kendrina knows they're like, oh my gosh, she's amazing. I had a friend who was like, for 15 years, I've tried to get him on the health thing. He never would. And he was drinking the shakes every day and was like, this is amazing. And it's really changed my energy, my life. So I would love her to give you her information so you can find out more about that and other things that she does. But right now, just for anyone that's watching, just getting back into your heart space and into your body. So just taking a deep breath in, breathing in from the top of your head, and just allowing your breath with your attention and awareness to scan your body and your own physical body and your energetic field, starting from the top of your head, your neck, your shoulders, allowing your shoulders to soften, allowing your heart to open, allowing your spine to straighten, and just scanning your body, just noticing from front to back, side to side, your heart space, your vertebrae, your spine, one vertebrae at a time. And when you exhale, exhaling out the base of your spine and the bottom of your feet, really allowing yourself to reconnect to Mother Gaia, Mother Earth, Mother Nature, your own natural rhythms. With every exhale, just really allowing yourself to let go, to be more fully supported, to let go of anyone else's energy you might have taken on, any to do list, anything in the past or in the future, anything that's keeping you from being present, anything that's keeping you from being in the present moment, in your body, in your own energetic field. For so many of us, without even realizing it, we feel like it is not safe to be in our own body, to fill up with ourselves. So, with every breath in, just breathing in, it is safe. It is safe to be in my body. It is safe to be in my authenticity. It is safe to be in my heart space. It's safe to feel. It's safe to be seen. And just noticing what that arises with you in every exhale, just letting go. And we're going to do this one more time. And I encourage you with the last breath in, just calling in all of yourself into yourself. If there's any color that resonates, just allowing that to wash over you. Any of your worries or concerns, starting from the top of your head and just scanning your entire body, cell by cell. And when you exhale, just really letting go, rooting and grounding into this present moment, back into your body. That is where manifestation occurs. So much of us, and so much these concepts of spirituality, we think we have to go out there. We think we have to go beyond. And yes, that is an aspect of it, is connecting to source consciousness. But the reality is bringing source consciousness within, knowing we are that, knowing there is no limitation, there is no lack. And any lack that you feel is just any place where you are cut off from your own truth or from source consciousness. So allowing yourself to reconnect to being your heart space and your body. So Kendrina, I would love to, is there anything you would like to close with or add? And then also, and where can people find you?
I I feel super blissed out right now. Thank you. Yeah, no, that was perfect. That was beautiful. And mm, you can find me. Well, my social media right now is a bit under repair. So, I mean, you can find me. I guess the best way would be
You have a Facebook,
just,
no?
yeah, you can find me on Facebook. It's Kendrina Love. So,
Can you
yeah.
spell that out for people? And I'll also put it afterwards.
Mm-hmm. KENDRINNA Love.
Oh, you are love. I freaking love you so much.
Mm.
Thank you for your time and energy. And this is the beautiful thing. Again, going back to switching from competition to collaboration, it's so beautiful. And we allow one another to rise each other up. And going back to energy, when your energy is a little bit low and you're in someone else's energy field that is more, that they're aligned, they're in their balance, they're in that like flow space, then it allows you, it's like a tuning fork. It allows you, it's like in music, it allows you to rise up and to connect to their frequency, which is so beautiful. And that's like the entire way that I work. But sometimes, because I've been so busy in teaching and have so many aligned opportunities, that sometimes I can get pulled because that masculine essence of me is very strong, of that like success, show up, do that, you say yes to everything. That's a whole nother boundaries. Um, but you guys can find me at Reclaim the Way. So that is my Instagram, ReClaimTheWay. It's not about reclaiming my way, it's about you reclaiming your way and what is in alignment for you. And then if you want to work with me, my email is reclaimtheway.com. I work with about 50% individuals and corporate and higher learning. I am doing a workshop this weekend with Rama Institute, their business school, all about aligned abundance. And I'm super excited. I have a workshop coming up on healing the witch wound. We're going to go deeper into epigenetics and cellular memories. Oh, they're saying your connection doesn't seem to be great. I know your connection isn't great, but that's okay. You were great. And I freaking love your energy and your wisdom. It was just, if there's something that happens when people come together in the state of just sharing their truth that is so beautiful and allows us to like bounce off each other and learn and grow in this way. So I hope everyone that's watching that you learned something in some way. And if you want to share, like, follow, all the things, I really appreciate it. I appreciate Haley Rose for this opportunity. I love you, Kendrina, and I know it's later there and you
I
go
love
to
you.
bed early. So thank you for your
Yeah, it's
time.
okay.
We
It's
were
not
supposed
quite bedtime in a few
Okay.
hours.
We were supposed to do it
Yeah, it's
earlier and
perfect.
I delayed. By the way, you guys, anyone that does know, it's a full moon. The full moon's all about letting go what no longer serves you. I do have a post on my YouTube at Reclaim the Way, which is a self-guided way that you can honor the full moon and that you can write down and rescript and let go of what no longer serves you, because the clearing part is essential. Basically, so much of manifesting is focusing on getting more, but you first have to clear your closets. Like, you have to make space. A closed hand can't receive. So if you want to manifest, if you want to receive, the first like essential step is clearing. I know breath work is really vital for clearing, aligned food. So again, check out Kendrina Love, 2 N's, on Facebook. You can check out me. I'm also on Facebook, everywhere, Reclaim the Way. And thank you guys for your time and energy. And don't forget, you are and be the change you wish to see in the world. Love you, Kendrina. Thank you again.
Mwah. I love you. Talk to you soon.
Bye. Thank
Bye,
you. Love
everyone.
you, Haley. Okay, let's close this. Okay, end. Background on. Sign out. Okay, let's see.